the North Star is still the job to be done of SecOps, which is to prioritize alerts. For example, they receive all these alerts from different tools, all siloed. And our product is actually that one touch point, an interface for them to have one view of all their alerts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Human Managed YouTube channel, where we have another SecOps product video for you today. I'm Deborah, and today we have Chiqui, all the way from our Manila office, here to talk to us about designing for SecOps, as well as her process and any challenges that she faced. So, hi Chiqui.
Hello, Deb.
Nice to have you in person because
Yes.
we previously had you online. Would you like
Yes.
to introduce yourself for
Yes.
our audience?
So I'm Chiqui. So I was the head of design ops previously. But now I'm doing service design, service experience design, to be specific.
So how did you transition from general design ops to specifically designing for SecOps? Because in our previous episode, you talked to us about how you design dashboards, user experience. But given that SecOps is kind of a new product, is there anything that you changed to specifically cater to this?
Designing for a product actually is the true test of how usable your UI components are. So the buttons, the templates that you've created in the design system will be used to a specific product. So for SecOps, since it has a specific job to be done, you kind of tailor those generalized components so they can work seamlessly in that product.
Do you want to elaborate more on maybe how you design for the different audiences? So sometimes we have SOC analysts that need to access
Right.
the SecOps product. Sometimes we
Right.
have managers, higher level people
Correct.
in the organization. I mean, building off your point about how you turn, more generalized design elements, catering for SecOps specifically. How does the different audiences you're designing for tie into that?
Focusing on the user interface, it now becomes transitions into more of the user experience. The North Star is still the job to be done of SecOps, which is to prioritize alerts. That guiding principle then flows into the specific personas and what their pain points are. So for the analysts, the typical problem is alert fatigue and a lack of context. So for example, they receive all these alerts from different tools, all siloed. And our product is actually that one touch point, an interface for them to have one view of all their alerts. As for the lack of context, and by lack of context, we mean in an alert, there's a specific asset that's affected. And usually the security analyst does not really understand or have context of what that asset is, who's using it, who owns it. And so since SecOps enriches the alert with this asset context, that specific pain point is kind of resolved because in the interface we show them who owns it, what's affected, and how important it is to the business. So that's for the analyst, but we also have the CISO, the CEO. Although the main user of our SecOps product is really the analyst.
You mentioned that our SecOps product kind of resolve some of the challenges they face, such as alert fatigue or lack of context. And actually, for those who don't know, our SecOps product is divided into 4 components:
Right.
data, messaging, AI, as well as app. So from a design perspective, and I guess a user experience perspective, walk us through or give us a brief description of what those 4 products are. Because previously we talked to our chief engineer, we talked to Salim, our founder, who had the concept behind this product. And so it was more so of like what goes on in terms of like the technical side, but I guess you can give us a different perspective on what the products are to somebody who is actually using them rather than building them.
The data product transcends in within like the different interfaces which you mentioned, the messaging, the app, and the AI. So that's really the core of the other three, because those touch points really is only as good as the data product that we have. For messaging, it's actually the nudge that something needs to be done. It's the first contact when something goes wrong. The app is designed to, for exploration, for to make decisions and actions, because of course, we want the user to act on what the problem is. Yeah. And then the AI is also embedded in the application, which is them talking to their data using natural language.
You mentioned the messaging product,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just want to like touch on that a little bit. I noticed that you say that it is, sending notifications for alerts. But then at the same time, you also mentioned before that alert fatigue is something that a lot of teams face.
Correct.
Because there's just so many, like, it's just like a spam of alerts, like, oh, this is
Correct.
happening, this is happening, this is happening.
Correct.
So how do you design the messaging product's alert system such that it gives adequate alerts when it needs to give alerts, but also avoid spamming the user?
Right. And this is the very core of service design. As they onboard, we would provide them with a baseline that they will receive only critical and high severity alerts. When they onboard, of course, nothing is set. So that's the default. You're already filtering the alert that they receive, because typically users would want to receive everything. They want to know everything. But like give it like a few days, they would get sick of it. Like they won't check anymore. So we provide that default, but also the option to customize, when they want to be notified. Like, do they want to notify based on like severity, priority, who the owner is? Do they only want to get notified on like important assets? Yeah, things like that.
That's interesting that you pointed out important assets and like the customization options, because I think that's something that we take pride in, like the modularity and the customization that clients can do to really suit their business.
Correct.
Rather than like a one size fits all software that just deals with like cybersecurity. And on to one of the next products, which is the AI product. So essentially, our AI product is allowing people, the user specifically, or maybe analysts, to talk to their data information, to their security insights, and then kind of talk to it like natural language chat, and then get any insights or any like summaries, just any information that they want from the data that they have. How do you design an interface like that where analysts can just talk to their security data?
So the approach that we made for the AI or the chat interface is very simple. We really did not reinvent the wheel. So we just went for something that's familiar. So how you would talk to Claude or Chat GPT, but we really focused on designing the conversation flow, making sure that the user will get the response that they need. So for the analysts, for example, it's anticipating the questions that they'll be asking. So it's more of like, how many alerts I have today, more descriptive. Then for the CISO, anticipating questions like, what are some of the quick wins? What's something I can easily fix? Or the most important thing I need to fix today, something that will affect the business. So yeah, it's more focused on the conversation than the interface.
Interesting. And on the topic of mentioning like CISOs and how and higher ups and what they want to see or get from the data versus what an analyst might want to get from the data. How do you design the interface and the dashboards such that it balances the kind of overview that managers and higher ups want versus the more technical data that analysts might want?
When we design already for like the CISO and the CEO, it's more of the business language. So, and it's more asset centric. It's not saying, okay, this is the event or this is the alert, and this is the severity. Not much onto the detail, like who the threat actor is, but more of, is this impacting my business? So it's more from a compliance and a risk point of view. It's possible that we don't like the data, that we don't have the data for that, and that's why asset intelligence is essential to SecOps. It's because for us to be able to provide those answers, like what the impact is to the business, they have to profile their assets. And we need to know how important those assets are and what services are affected by those assets.
Okay, so thanks for giving us more details on the things that you include in the interface and how you balance, while you try to combat alert fatigue, but then you also have the important ones popping up so that you don't miss out anything. And I think that brings me to my next question, which would be, how do you do it in a way that doesn't overwhelm users? Which is kind of like my question about alert fatigue, but also there's just, even with fewer alerts, there's so much information. There's all these different characteristics and information about each threat and alert you can get. How do you design it in a way, whether it's visually or the actual information that's in the on the screen, such that it doesn't overwhelm users when they open it? They're like, oh, this is like too much.
Yes, this is where the idea comes in. So, like the intel decisions and actions, we highlight the important parts, and the beauty of designing for SecOps is it's like the data already did the job for me, because it's already saying what the priority is, what is the important data, like priority one, this is the important one. So I just need to highlight that, and put that in a chart. But also, of course, like for analysts or for any customer, you also have to establish that trust. And so we still have to present everything, in case they want to explore and check their data. Like, here's the entire list of alerts that we have received in the platform. But yes, definitely there should be a condensed and like a summarized. That's why we call it, like, we have this one card called the summarized intel, where you'll see the important dimensions of the data.
That's actually quite interesting. I didn't know about the summarized card thing that we have. I
Oh,
think that's very
okay.
useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my first. This personally is my first time hearing about it.
Oh, okay.
So going more into the process of making the SecOps design, how do you iterate your designs before it really goes into production? Like, walk us through the process of how you even create the product.
Before it goes to the user, of course, it's a wireframe, and before AI, it was a tedious process.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It still is. I mean, it used to be like duplicating frames on Figma, but now I utilize Cursor to prototype. Like, for the person receiving the or using the prototype, like, seeing it in a deployed environment feels more like authentic and realistic. So I found Cursor to be really good at that. I do like a real world prototype that the stakeholder can use. and receive feedback from that. Yeah, so I design and iterate using Cursor.
On the topic of prototyping, how do you test and prototype a high stakes environment without having to actually go into a high stakes environment where a mistake could mean a data breach, a security
Right.
breach? How do you test out your product for those scenarios?
For that scenario, we really go beyond the prototype. So once the prototype has been approved, then it goes through the, of course, the coder codes it. We see it in, like, we see it on staging, and then we test it with production data. And this is where like the design team works with the data product. And so we say, okay, what's your most recent alert? Let's see how real time we will see this alert. That validation can solely be done by me. So I just really involve the data product team to, yeah, basically data validation done by the
Okay.
data product team. See if everything
Teamwork,
is, yeah,
yeah.
everything is there. Do we really have like 30,000 alerts? Are we missing anything? Are all the fields populated? Yeah.
What kind of feedback are you most nervous about? Is it about your design, like the visuals, the accuracy?
Excited about how the, like, yeah, like how the product will make the analysts work more efficient, how like whoever the person they're reporting to will really consume the reports, see improvements in like their time to respond to alerts and incidents, time to fix their high priority alerts. What I'm most nervous about is yeah, the design can be iterated. So if it's something that can be fixed, it's easy. Like it'll just go through that typical sprint. But the hard work is really accuracy, data accuracy, and ensuring that that trust is built, that, oh, this is accurate, this is our data.
Thanks for sharing that. I mean, you've walked us through how you ensure that the data is accurate, how you ensure that there won't be alert fatigue, and the process. But have you faced any technical limitations in your design process?
Yes. So usually there will be like this conversation amongst like different system owners, and we say, okay, let's say the analyst wants to accept the risk. So it's a user input. So they select an option, and like, let's say a system owner says, okay, the system can confirm that we have received the input in, let's say, 10 seconds, which isn't really fast because you when you press confirm, it should ideally be,
Immediate.
immediate.
Yeah.
But if not, that's where the you change or kind of adapt the design. So okay, if loading takes 10 seconds or no matter how long, so what is the, like, how will the user, or what will the user experience? So do you we if it takes long, then you move them to a, like, a request page where they can track whether their their request is has been completed, kind of like Grab. You have that when you press order, you can go back to that page and say, and check if you're, like, the you can check the progress of your delivery, basically.
Let me just digest the information for a little bit. Because you've like walked through like every single thing. I'm like, wow, like it
Yeah.
sounds. I mean, I know you said that there were technical limitations, but I honestly feel like what you've already done thus far is very good. I mean, the fact that it's capable of so many things, and it's like a very holistic service in my opinion, because it really brings you from end to end, from the data asset cataloging all the way to the data insights. I think that's a very unique aspect of SecOps. Just so my last question, and a more fun question, would be I mean, right now you've spent so much time and effort building SecOps, designing everything that we need for the product. But it's mainly things that we already originally planned and originally wanted. But if something that maybe you thought of but couldn't implement for whatever reason, what is one thing that you would like to add to SecOps in the future if you could add anything?
There's nothing I could ask for right now. Um, I mean, working in design, at least in human managed, I've always wanted to talk the user to talk to their data. And now that we have that chat interface, I think that's the most straightforward way to consume your data and understand your data. I was originally hired to do conversation design, and finally we're here. If there's something I would add, then it would probably be something that would uh, like any feedback, any feature request from the user that would enable them to respond to alerts immediately if there's anything that the interface is lacking. But yeah, there's nothing more I can ask for.
Okay. I think that's actually a very good response because it
Yes.
goes to show that we really put in a lot of thought and thought of almost everything when we create the SecOps, which is a testament to how thorough we are as an organization and as a team.
Yes.
So I guess this wraps up our conversation for today. And I say today because hopefully I get to have another chat with you sometime.
Yes.
So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to me and share with our audience what we do with SecOps and the design process. For those who watched all the way to here, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe because we post every week cool videos about our products and about tech stuff. Thank you once again, and I
Thanks,
hope to
Jeff.
see you
Again
soon.
soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye.